Hi my loves, today I have a very different makeup tutorial for you. I recently watched Taylor Swift's Bad Blood music video, and for keeping it completely honest and like real, I couldn't decide which one I liked more, all of the makeup in the video or the shoes, because both were pretty much killer. And I couldn't decide which look I wanted to do, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to show you guys, so I actually teamed up with one of my really good friends here on YouTube. Her name is Alexandra and her channel is called Learning to be Fearless. Alex and I have been friends for a while, and we decided to collab for a multitude of reasons. Number one, because she's really good with makeup, and because I thought that she would do the look that she chose so much better than I could have. Whereas this is very like messy and smoky and dark and like what bam in your face. Hers is much more structured. It has a lot more, she's so much more skilled with makeup than I could ever be. But also because 1 week from the day that this is going up, on May the 29th, we are actually flying to LA together. We've been friends for a while and we decided to take a girls trip for Generation Beauty. So if any of you are going, you will see me there. We are also going to be having a little meetup for those of you who couldn't get tickets or didn't want to pay for them. Whatever the reason might be, if you're just not going, we're going to be having a meetup at the Grove from 4 to 6 p.m. So I hope to see some of you guys there. So make sure to go over to Alex's channel after you watch my video and please subscribe. You guys will love her. Now in terms of this makeup look, this is not for everyday wear, obviously, unless you want to wear makeup like this every single day. It's kind of more editorial. It's very like in your face, dark smoky eyes. She also had like wet hair, so I hairsprayed my roots to the heavens. I didn't want to put in gel because I need to go places after this and I didn't want to look like I had wet hair all day. The skin is very dewy and fresh and glowy, and the eyes are crazy smoky. The lips are nice and nude. It's a very easy look, but it just takes some practice and it just takes a little bit of time. So I'm gonna get into it. Also, just so you guys know, I'm going to be laughing throughout this entire tutorial, so if you see me crack up, the reason for that is I'm listening to Mindy Kaling's book on Audible right now. And it's kind of everything. I wanted to actually tell you guys, and I thought this would be a good video to finally announce, that I do have an Audible link since I mention it all of the time. I've used it by myself without a link for months. And it's just audibletrial.com/Loey. It will be down below, and you can get a free book through that, which is really cool. I totally recommend Mindy Kaling's book. It's hilarious so far. I'm not too far into it, but it's really funny. And yeah, I'm finally gonna get into this tutorial, and I hope you all enjoy. I'm going to start off by covering the darkness and veining on my eyelids using this brightening concealer from Maybelline, and I'm just going to blend that in with my fingers. Then I'm going to grab my Lorac primer and apparently crack up at Mindy Kaling and then prime my eyelids for the shadows we're going to be using later. You could just use concealer, but I like to use a primer as well that's made for eyeshadow priming. Keeps everything from creasing. Then I'm going to take this sparkly black base from MAC, and honestly, I think that a matte like gel liner would be better for this. So definitely use that, and I'm apparently going to put a tiny bit of this on my nose. Super duper cute. Then I'm going to jump into the Naked 2 eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay and first take the color Tease. This is a really nice cool tone mauve color, and I'm going to really lightly buff that into the crease using a fluffy brush. Then Taylor had a really dark purpley brown color in the inner corners of her eyes, so I'm going to take this next color in the Naked 2 palette and just pop that right on the inner corners. This doesn't have to be perfect because we are actually going to go in a moment here with the matte black shade and go crazy with that. And you can definitely see I am really packing this color on, but I'm taking it in small batches. So I'm really picking up a tiny bit of product, patting that on, then making sure it's nicely blended and going back for more. I will keep dipping my brush in, and packing the color on to get my desired intensity, and that's pretty much how this entire look is going to go. Black shadow can be a real pain in the neck, so it's better to start off light and keep building up than go in with a like brush full of black shadow and get it all over your face. Then once I have that black all over my eyelid, I am then going to take a pencil brush and create kind of the wing of my eyeshadow, if you will. Taylor had a very soft cat eye with this. It wasn't super structured, I mean to the point where it looked like she had tape down on her eye or anything. So I'm just following my natural lash line and following a line to my brow bone from that. Then I'm going to bring it into the crease, and this will give me a very, very sharp edge. So I'm just going to put that line down, blend, keep adding more product until again I have my desired intensity. It's best not to turn into a panda with this, and make sure you have control over where the product is going. This, my friends, is why we do not do foundation first when we are doing a black smoky eye. I'm taking a bit of my makeup remover and a Q-tip here, and I'm just going to clean up any fallout I have on the face and really sharpen up the edge of this look. Now going into my foundation, I am taking the Neutrogena Healthy Skin because Taylor's skin is number one, a tiny bit lighter than mine, so I chose a slightly light foundation for my skin tone and just made sure to blend it down my neck. And number two, because this foundation is very natural and very, very dewy, which is what she really had going on in the music video. I'm first going to blend that in with a buffing brush, and then when I realized I really didn't like the way that that was going on, I'm going to actually switch to a damp beauty blender or a damp sponge and blend that in with that. Then instead of using concealer and getting a very thick coverage on the face, I'm just going to take a second layer of foundation and blend once more with my damp sponge. Since the eyes are super dark and smoky, I really want a bright under eye to counteract that and make me look more awake instead of looking like a panda, like a super tired panda basically. So I am going to take this brightening concealer from Maybelline first, right under the eye area. Then I'm going to highlight under the eyes as well as between the brows, down the nose, all of the areas where I would typically highlight with a more skin tone color concealer. This one is a little bit light for my skin, so it is going to brighten a bit, but it's going to be a bit more natural than a like straight up pink concealer. That wouldn't look particularly natural everywhere. I'm going to set that concealer using a mix of the banana powder from the Anastasia contour kit as well as my normal face powder, and this is just going to create a very natural but brightening effect under the eyes and keep the concealer from creasing throughout the day. I'm not going to powder anywhere else on the face for this look because I do want dewy skin, so we're going to jump back into eyes. First, I'm going to take the color Tease underneath my lower lash line and just brush that color along. This will really help the next shade that we put down blend so much easier. Then I'm going to take the black color from this palette and I am going to pop that on the lower lashes, and this is going to meet with the wing for my upper lid. So it kind of looks like one seamless look. You've got just kind of a cat eye going on, and then the lower lash line meets up with that. Going to blend using a clean brush, and this is pretty important because you don't want this to look very harsh. It is dark, it is smoky, but you don't want the lines to be too bolder in your face, at least not for this look. Then I'm going to take the matte color Foxy and use that on my brow bone. I'm just going to use this color to blend out a bit more and make sure that the edges of this look stop exactly where I want them to. Going to jump back into the contour kit and take this lightest sort of taupey color to contour under the cheeks on the forehead where I would normally contour. I'm not adding any warmth with this shade, I just want a bit more structure to my face. Taylor had no bronzer going on, but her cheekbones were like seriously popping in the video. So I'm just using a bit of powder to really define mine. Then I'm going to pop on MAC's Immortal Flower Blush, which is a very light peachy blush. You're almost barely going to see it in the finished look, but it does add a bit of color to the cheeks.
Going to make sure that blush seamlessly blends in with my contour, then we're going to highlight using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector. This is a liquid highlighter, and it really highlights the skin, you guys. This is a crazy bright, very glowy highlighter, so I'm just popping that where I want to highlight. So on the tops of the cheeks, I'll also take a bit down the nose and on the Cupid's bow, just wherever I want additional glow. Gonna fill in my brows using my favorite brow pencil, and I know I sort of go in and out of focus here, but I just sort of sped through it because I know everyone does their brows differently. Just gonna fill in the front of mine and make sure they are nicely blended before I fill in the arch as well. So since I'm not wearing any powder, it's very important for me to set my makeup using a setting spray. This way it will last throughout the day and actually give me a bit more of a dewy glow. Then I'm going to use this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Lightscapade on the very inner corners of my eyes because Taylor did have a bit of a highlight there. Not anything crazy, but it was noticeable. The only reason I'm using a powder is it's just easier for this area than a liquid. Then I'm going to line the rims of my eyes using a very black eyeliner. I'm really out of focus, but I left this part in because I think I look cross-eyed and kind of funny, and I wanted to leave it in, okay? Now I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara. Now it's time for falsies, and I know what you're thinking. This is an all-black smoky eye. Are like eyelashes really that important? And I definitely think so. It gives your eye a sort of dimension and sets your lashes apart from your eyeshadow. I definitely think falsies are a must with this so that your eyes don't get completely lost and so that you don't look too tired. Then for lips, I'm going to start off with Gerard Cosmetics Buttercup Lipstick and put that all over the lips for a very nudie pink glow. Then I'm going to top that off with Shimmer of Hope Gloss.
So that's going to be it for me, and if you guys did like it, make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and until next time, my loves, I will see you very soon. Bye.